Waihaska Haltincha Squeeze Buffy Mills, White Lim Lim. Hi everyone, thank you for joining. My name is Buffy Mills and I am running in the upcoming Okanagan Indian Band election. So I did a live event the other day and I had some really great questions, challenging questions, which was really great. But after my live event, I received a couple more questions that I thought that I would address. One question in particular was super interesting, and I was actually quite excited to talk about it. So here it is. The question was about wage transparency, and it's an interesting topic. And let me tell you why. Now, historically, talking and disclosing wages is taboo. You know, it has been like, oh, you know, you don't do that, you don't discuss how much you make, all of that kind of stuff. And really that kind of doctrine has led to, obviously, some significant disparity in employment. And so what has happened recently is we're finding that more and more organizations are starting to embrace wage transparency. There are whole countries actually that have decided to go through a process of wage transparency, mostly to deal with the pay disparity between or among men and women. Great idea. Doesn't come without its challenges, of course. You know, it does have some issues. It can create animosity amongst employees, especially when it's discovered that maybe somebody else is making more money than you, right? That happens, and it can create some issues. But the way those issues are usually handled or have been handled successfully is when there is a clear communication about it, and there's clear communication on what people can do to increase their compensation. So having a plan, a performance plan, having a personal growth plan, those kinds of things can be used by the organization to encourage employees to maybe build some skills to increase their compensation. And then, of course, it also provides the opportunity for the organization to be very strategic about ensuring that pay disparity is being addressed. Now, OKIB has its issues around pay disparity. We have individuals that have been in the organization for a very, very long time and are not really being paid what they're worth. We also have highly paid individuals, and we need to have a plan to address that disparity. We need to have open conversations about how we're going to do that, because just based on my recollection, and maybe things have changed, that is entirely possible, but we had individuals that were working in the organization that were making minimum wage. And, you know, that's hard to live on, really difficult to live on. And I think that we should be considering a living wage for band members. Why would we endorse individuals to continue to live in poverty? I mean, that is the reason why people go for training, build skills, and work for the band, is hopefully so they're not living in poverty, right? So it is an opportunity to address the disparity. The other thing that occurs to me in this conversation that I find it is probably one of the most important conversations as an Indigenous employee that we can have is about pay disparity between on reserve and off reserve. Now, it's been justified and suggested that because status individuals do not pay income tax on reserve, that they should be paid less. I don't know about you, but I think it's inappropriate. It's inappropriate that I'm asked to finance a promise that was made to me, right? In exchange for occupying our lands, people, right? Like, people are living in our territory, on our lands, and in exchange for that, part of the promise is that I am tax exempt. Why am I being penalized, or why am I financing a promise that was made to me? So really, I think it's inappropriate. You wouldn't go to a pizza shop, order a pizza and say, yeah, I'm only going to pay for 3/4 of it. You know, it just wouldn't fly, right? The person, the owner wants their money. It's inappropriate to even suggest that you're only going to pay 3/4 of it, but that's exactly what happens on reserve, not just at OKIB, but all over the place. And again, why would we be financing a promise? Doesn't make any sense to me. So in terms of wage transparency, I think it's a great idea. I think that it is maybe not disclosing people's actual wages, but fully disclosing the wage grid. Now, I know that is something that was being worked on when I was at OKIB, and I hope that it has been completed. And if it has, then it should actually be fully communicated. And then internally, the organization can actually start addressing those wage disparities and communicating clear plans to employees so they can increase their compensation and build their skill and succession plan. Amazing. Anyways, that is my answer for wage transparency. I hope you like, and I hope that it piqued your interest. And if it has, please leave me a comment or send me a message. I would love to hear from you, and I would love to hear your perspective. Thank you. Lim Lim.